The devil, otherwise known as the personification of evil, is a spiritual being known throughout many religions and beliefs. And whether or not you actually believe in the devil or Christianity or anything like that, it doesn't really matter because the devil culturally has made a big impact on our society. Now, there's a lot more to the devil than him just being an evil dude who rules over hell. One of the things that fascinates me the most about Mr. Lucifer is that, on top of being one of the most evil beings in this world, he is also one of the greatest musicians in this world. Throughout history, there's been numerous examples of the devil being connected to music.
The demon code prevents me from declining a rock-off challenge.
Best me in a fiddle contest, you win Backbender's soul, as well as a solid gold fiddle.
What happens if we lose?
You will only win a smaller silver fiddle.
There's even an example of the devil associating with music in the Bible. Now, it's not outright said that he likes jamming out in the Bible, but in the passage Ezekiel 28:13, while describing the devil while still in heaven, it says, "The workmanship of your timbrels and pipes were prepared for you on the day you were created." This suggests while the devil was balling out in heaven, he was in charge of the timbrels and the pipes, which is how you would create music. So many believe before the devil got thrown out of heaven, he was making some all-time great jams. And also, besides this just one Bible verse, there's tons of examples through TV shows, movies, and songs of the devil somehow being connected to music. An early fascinating example of this is in the 1700s when the song The Devil's Trill Sonata came out. The Devil's Trill Sonata was a violin solo classical song that's known for its complexity and extreme difficulty to play. Now, I'm not sure what any music notes mean, but just, looking at this music sheet, this shit looks hard as fuck to play, man. And the creator of this song, who I'm just gonna call Tartini because that first name's looking fucked up, but Tartini claims he was only able to create and perform this wild piece because of a dream he had prior, where Tartini was laying on his bed, and at the end of it was the devil asking Tartini if he could be his teacher. Tartini accepts the devil's offering and hands him a violin, and the devil begins to play some banging tunes. Tartini, in his own words, describes this as incredible virtuosity, delivering a performance which was powerful and intense, but exquisitely tasteful and executed with the most breathtaking precision. Tartini, after awakening from this dream, attempted to recreate what he had heard the devil play, creating the song The Devil's Trill Sonata. And even with this song being so complex and difficult, Tartini himself says the song doesn't nearly compare to the masterpiece the devil whipped up in his dream. Tartini would later write on this matter, comparing his work to what he had heard, saying, "So inferior to what I had heard that if I could have subsided on any other means, I would have broken my violin and abandoned music forever." And throughout history, there's tons more examples of the devil being associated with music. In the 1920s, many racist Americans considered jazz music to be the devil's music. And in the 70s and 80s, when rock music was really popping off, many of the older generation believed rock music was also the devil's music, and if you played it backwards, you'd be saying like seances to the devil. Also, during this time of the 60s and 70s, there's a lot of rock songs that directly mention the devil and playing music. An early example of this is in 1968 when the Rolling Stones dropped their critically acclaimed song, Sympathy for the Devil. In this song, Mick Jagger sings in first person, pretending to be the devil the whole time. So, the whole vibe of this song is that, the devil is the one singing and playing this song to you. And then in 1979, the widely recognized song, The Devil Went Down to Georgia dropped. This song really cemented the devil's place in music. It's just such an epic story and a great song. Who hasn't heard this song? And assuming there's a couple fools out there who haven't heard this song, I'll go through the plot of the song real quick. Alright, so basically this song describes the story of a fiddle player in Georgia named Johnny. The devil also just so happened to be in Georgia and was also lacking on souls. The devil noticed Johnny was rocking out on a fiddle player, and the devil, who also quite enjoyed playing the fiddle, decides to challenge young Johnny to a fiddle off. If he wins, he gets a golden fiddle. Pretty epic, I know. But if he loses, then he will have to give his soul to the devil. Johnny takes him up on this offer and absolutely mops the devil in this fiddle off, successfully securing the golden fiddle, and even offering the devil to come back and challenge him anytime, declaring himself as the greatest fiddle player to ever live. And there's countless more examples that I skip past of the devil being associated with music, but in the sake of actually getting to the point of the video, I want to skip to the 21st century, where the devil found his way into rap music. before I get into these rappers who may or may not be soul sellers, I should probably say, in my honest beliefs, I don't think any rappers actually sold his soul to the devil because, I mean, it's a pretty fucking wild idea. So what I'm trying to say is take these conspiracies with a grain of salt, and it doesn't really even matter whether or not the stories are true or not, because either way, it's always fun to listen to some wacky conspiracy theories. So shit, let's take a look at some rappers that may have made some dealings with the devil, starting with a big dog, Jay-Z. Many people believe Jay-Z is a part of the Illuminati, and the reason for this is because, well, Jay-Z often throws up the triangle hand sign, which, I mean, if the Illuminati were to have a gang sign, that's what it would be. And there's hundreds of photos of Jay-Z throwing up this triangle. Now, granted, throwing up a triangle doesn't really mean for sure you're a part of the Illuminati. Jay-Z could just fuck with triangles. But a more direct example of Jay-Z being a part of the Illuminati is in his song Devils. In this song, Jay-Z samples Prodigy's verse from LL Cool J's I Shot Your remix. And the line that he samples and uses for the chorus of this song says, Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body. Secret society trying to keep their eye on me. So I mean, this song is literally saying that the Illuminati is like trying to recruit Jay-Z because he's such a powerful guy, so you know, they want his mind, soul, and his body. Secret society's trying to keep his eye on him. And while this is like literally a direct mention of the Illuminati and being a part of it in one of his songs, I do want to play devil's advocate and say, obviously this doesn't really mean he's a part of the Illuminati. Like, it's possible, but it's also possible that he just put this line in there because the Illuminati is a group of powerful people, and it's just a pretty fucking badass line that makes you seem like a powerful person. So yeah, I mean, the Prodigy sample doesn't really prove anything about Jay-Z being a part of the Illuminati, but the Jay-Z Illuminati conspiracies only gets deeper. So Jay-Z and Prodigy, who were once boys, would end up beefing, and what and why they're beefing about, I don't know, and it doesn't matter. All you need to know is Prodigy and Jay-Z are beefing, and then Prodigy would later go to jail in 2007 for possession of an illegal firearm. And within prison, Prodigy would send over a 5-page, like, schizophrenic rant over to Jay-Z. In Prodigy's writings, he speaks very highly of a man known as Dwight York. He speaks on reading his book Leviathan, saying after he finished, he started crying and was crying for all of humanity, mostly for the black people, because he then realized it's all a sham. Prodigy goes on in this letter to say that the FBI and the Illuminati framed Jacob York and sentenced him 135 years in prison. Prodigy talks about how in '96, Jacob York was deep into the rap business. He claims that Jay-Z was a follower of York at the time and even a part of his Nubian community in Bushwick when he was a teenager. And Prodigy even gives some proof that Jay-Z was connected with York, bringing up an old music video called Jazz O. Prodigy talks about how in this video it's filled with symbolism towards Dwight York, and even at one point they hold up a picture of Dwight York. And I mean, Prodigy isn't wrong. They do all of this stuff in this music video, and it is featuring Jay-Z. So it's actually looking very likely that Jay-Z was an associate of Dwight York. Now, I bet you guys are wondering who the fuck is Dwight York, and that's where this story gets interesting. Dwight York was a cult leader and a child rapist. But before he was a cult leader, he was just a pedophile. Before he had the grand idea to start a cult, he got in trouble for having sex with a 13-year-old and was put on probation. York would later break his probation by being in possession of a deadly firearm and resisting arrest. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison, and I just want to say I find it kind of weird that he wasn't sentenced to any prison for fucking a literal child, and then they caught him with a gun and they sent him to prison for 3 years. I don't know what the fuck's going on with the legal system, but dude fucked a 13-year-old. But anyways, he would serve his time, and in the 1970s, he would head over to Brooklyn where he would start selling random goods on the streets. During this time of peddling goods on the streets, he would preach his religious ideas, and his religious ideas was a combination of black supremacy, something about the Egyptian pyramids and UFOs, and also somehow it's connected to the Illuminati. Now, Dwight York definitely had some wild ideas that you wouldn't really expect anyone to fall for, but in Brooklyn in the 70s, African Americans were facing quite a bit of racism. So when they have Dwight York preaching about how black people are the chosen people, about having black pride, this was quite an enticing message for the African Americans of Brooklyn who have been discriminated against for basically their whole entire lives. Dwight York would very quickly attract some members and even have them sell goods for him, and they would pay the money back to Dwight York where he would use the money to help spread his religion. From this point on, Dwight York's cult would grow exponentially.
Jerry, our tour guide, says he came here from Alabama. The sheriff says most of the other residents come from the Northeast, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore. How many, including how many children, is unclear.
He's Yanun.
He's known by many names.
The group's leader is identified in literature as Malachi Zodok York, the Supreme Grand Master. He is described as a charismatic speaker and apparently a prolific writer, producing monthly newsletters and dozens of books.
He says that he is from the 8th planet in the 19th galaxy of Eliwun.
A universe far outside of this one? Does it make sense to you?
That's in the book. If he wrote it, then yeah.
Through the 70s and 80s, his cult would expand greatly. York would eventually have 500 people living in about 20 apartment buildings in which that he owned. This was all set up in the Bushwick district of Brooklyn. He basically owned this whole district, like the whole city was just his. They operated a bookstore, gift shops, a clothing store, a grocery store, like they had it going. He would even end up expanding his cult into other US cities abroad in Trinidad, London, and Toronto. Also, if you wanted to be a member of this cult, you had to pay a daily quota to the cult of $25 to $125 a day. They would earn this money by selling goods and doing other things for the cult, and if they didn't meet their daily quota, they would be beaten or punished in other ways. And if you're still thinking, that doesn't sound that fucked up, I forgot to mention Dwight York was also known as the Supreme Leader and was allowed to have sex with any woman that he wanted that was a part of the cult, all the way from other members' wives to members' children. This would continue to go on all the way to 2004 until he was convicted to 135 years in prison for child sexual abuse, rape, racketeering, conspiracy, and fraud. So now I bet you're wondering, what does that have to do with Jay-Z? Well, this cult was very closely connected with the Illuminati. And shit, according to Prodigy, Dwight York's an innocent man and Jay-Z knows this. I mean, it's proven Jay-Z was most likely a part of this cult, it's proven that this cult had connections with the Illuminati, and it's proven that the leader got sentenced to 135 years in prison. Now, if you want to believe the Prodigy's conspiracy, the only logical explanation is John York's wild conspiracy ideas about the Egyptians meeting the aliens and meaning that the black people in Egypt were chosen and somehow being connected to the Illuminati are actually all true. My dog Dwight York's just trying to make it known that black people actually are the chosen people, but the fucking Illuminati was like, no, we're gonna say that you're fucking children and put you in prison, and everyone knows that Jay-Z is a part of the Illuminati and he was probably the one who organized all of this. And shit, I bet he also signed a contract that sold his soul over to the devil. Alright, so Jay-Z, confirmed soul seller. Let's move on to the next candidate. Alright, next up, we're going to take a look at the greatest rapper to ever touch a microphone, and that, of course, is Kanye West. Alright, full disclosure, I don't have too much evidence supporting that Kanye sold his soul to the devil, but I mean, just look at the fact that he's by far the greatest artist who's ever lived. Like, have you seen this man's discography? He has heater after heater after heater. And let me just ask, how could one man create all these jams, have all that power, unless, of course, he made some shady dealings with the devil? Now, I know a lot of you guys might be shaking your heads thinking, Beanie, Ye is a man of God. If he got his musical talent from anyone, it was Jesus Christ himself. But the thing is, Jesus and God, they have absolutely no bangers to their name. Now, the devil, as I already went over in the whole beginning of this video, is known as the greatest musician who's ever lived. I mean, come on, he's the final boss in Rock Band 3. Like, what other kind of evidence could you possibly need? And Ye being a man of God only further supports my theory because, I mean, if you believe in God, you're gonna believe in the devil. I mean, after all, the dude's a multi-billionaire. Like, what do you think you get there from hard work and talent? No. He obviously sold his soul to the devil, and if that somehow isn't enough proof for you guys, I literally have a video of Kanye admitting it.
I sold my soul to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal. Lisa came with a few toys like a Happy Meal.
Yeah, now you guys look pretty fucking stupid. Kanye literally just said he sold his soul to the devil. And if there's one thing I know about Kanye West is he would never just randomly say some outlandish crazy shit. When Kanye says something, it's the truth. Kanye would never just tweet some random dumb shit or announce an album that's never gonna come out. Like, that's just not something Yeezy would do, you know? Alright, well that's really all I got on Kanye. The next rapper I'd like to take a look at is Lil Uzi Vert. Now, right off the bat, I want to show you guys some artistic depictions of demons and devils back from the 1600s. I want you guys to closely observe these pictures of these demons, get a good understanding of what a demon would look like. Alright, now that you guys understand what a demon would look like, look at this dude Lil Uzi Vert and tell me that he's not a fucking demon. Like, I swear these medieval depictions of demons are actually just drawings of Lil Uzi Vert. And on top of that, if you say Lil Uzi Vert's name 3 times fast, it's gonna start sounding like you're saying Lucifer. Coincidence? Probably, but it's a pretty cool coincidence. And if that's not a proof for you guys, I also found this clip of him basically just saying that he sold his soul to the devil.
Did I sell my soul? I sold my soul for you. Now figure that out. Tell me that I sold my soul for you. For all you motherfuckers that's on here, that's asking me did I sell my soul, why the fuck is y'all on here if y'all think I sold my soul? Y'all coming right with me, you dummies.
Now, if I had to guess, this clip of Uzi saying he like low-key sold his soul to the devil is definitely just something he said to get more publicity. Like the way he's saying it, being all cryptic about it, not directly saying he sold his soul, but he's like, I sold my soul for you, you guys are coming with me. Like, I don't know, it just seems like he wants people talking about him. But I did find this other clip that I think basically just 100% proves that he is indeed a demon. Like, come on, man, those are some fucking demon moves right there. Like, the human body just simply can't move in those ways if it has a soul. Alright, Lil Uzi Vert, confirmed scary ass demon. Next rapper I'd like to take a look at is Playboi Carti. Alright, a lot of these rappers, I've just been saying a lot of nonsense, I'll be 100%, but Playboi Carti, from what I can tell, is actually into some demonic shit. I mean, after all, he is the fucking Vamp King. I mean, right off the bat, his merch is just filled with a bunch of satanic symbols. He has a bunch of, like, upside-down crosses, pentagrams, all the fucking devil shit. And I don't think Playboi Carti is just using these symbols because they look cool and it's, like, rebellious. I mean, I think that's part of the reason. But I think Playboi Carti actually genuinely fucks for what Satanism stands for. I bet the dog's read a couple Aleister Crowley books in his day. I bet he knows a couple things. And the reason I believe this is because Playboi Carti's cousin, Uno the activist, would end up feuding with Lil Uzi Vert, saying he sold his soul to the devil and has completely changed up. His direct words were, "This ain't no diss, but I would never sell my soul for fame. I would never change my family over pussy. I would never friend my brother's enemy. I would never talk down on my family so fellas don't fuck with him before they meet. All that devil worship feeding statues is out." And that final line is really just what confirms it to me that Playboi Carti actually genuinely believes in some Satanism type shit. I know this dude's beefing with Carti, so like he could be capping on his name, but I mean at the end of the day it is his cousin. And Playboi Carti is known to be into the dark arts or what you call it. I mean the dude's a fucking vampire. And his merch is fucking satanic as hell, so I mean honestly I don't find it too far-fetched that in his younger years, and maybe even still today, Playboi Carti was doing some weird Satanism seances with the fucking devil and statues and shit. So Playboi Carti, just like all the other rappers I talked about in this video, is missing his soul. Alright, so I was going to talk about how Juice WRLD might have also sold his soul, basically just reading this shitty Reddit post I found talking about all these lines in his songs where he talks about selling his soul. And then I was going to connect that all back to how he died and say that was the reason he died. But then I thought about it and realized that's pretty fucking disrespectful. The dude's fucking dead and he definitely didn't sell his soul to the devil. So I probably shouldn't disrespect a man in his grave. If you saw Juice WRLD in the thumbnail in the beginning of this video and you were excited for me to talk about him, I mean, get clickbaited, fucker. Like, that's how we do it on YouTube. No, but seriously, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a really fun one to make. And I'm also officially done with my college classes, so expect videos to come more frequently. I'm not quite ready to set up a schedule or anything like that, but expect at least like 1 or 2 videos a month. And shit, if that's just not enough Beanie Kowloon content for you guys, I heavily recommend you join the Discord. Discord is just a dope-ass place where I can chat with all you guys. I drop my music recommendations, I drop some movie recommendations, and hey, if we get enough people in this Discord, we get this Discord popping, expect us to be running Jackbox one of these nights, and expect us to be having the greatest time we've ever had. But shit, that's all I got for you fools. Make sure you subscribe, like, join the Discord, and as always, peace out, doggies.